got an email actually earlier today that was just too good to pass up. And so we wanted to get into it.
It hits me personally in a particular place, this one.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we have discussed, and it's something that, you do have to contemplate at some point. And I like this because the person who wrote in actually chose an alias for themselves
Like
in
that.
this scenario. They're like, please don't use my name. Instead, use this. So this is courtesy of McLovin.
Mm-hmm.
It was either that or
From
Muhammad.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hawaiian organ donor. And he sent this message, and details have been tweaked to further anonymize.
Protect the innocent and
Yeah.
unnocent. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. Hey guys, big fan of the show. My cover band has had a worsening situation that I thought it might be worthwhile to get your opinion on how we should handle it. We're a very established cover band that's been at it since 2011. Myself, the bassist, and the lead singer / rhythm guitarist are the two founding original members of the band. Naturally, we've become very good friends over the past 15 years. Over the past year or so, he has let his health decline quite a bit. He has injuries on both legs / feet, and this has led to inactivity and weight gain. He doesn't have health insurance, so he won't go see a doctor, and he's too stubborn to pay out of pocket. He hobbles around at shows and sits down on stage whenever he can. It's painful to watch. He will often ask our lead guitarist to sing songs because he gets vocal fatigue quickly now as well. Our guitarist is a good singer, but has a much different voice. He's extremely proud of the band and never turns down a gig, even though he knows it's going to be difficult for him. The band is pretty much his whole personality. We have a packed summer coming up with lots of weddings and private parties booked. People are going to be expecting a product that we can't fully deliver right now, and we're not sure how to handle it. All I can come up with is to give him an ultimatum, make an effort to get healthy enough to perform or pass the torch. I hate to do that to him, though. He's the voice and face of the band, and he's a good friend. What are your thoughts? Thanks, McLevin. So, this is tough.
This is tough.
And like we're lucky in the sense that we can just look at things objectively and tell this person what to do. But what he's facing is emotionally taxing, and could have a lot of collateral damage to it based on how it's handled.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways of thinking through this, and it's actually, this is one of the times where I kind of threw it to the community and the guys in the Slack through their 2 cents, and we'll go ahead and do kind of our knee-jerk reaction to it, and then we'll kind of bring some other voices in to kind of round the whole conversation out. So what are your thoughts?
So a little more than a year ago, I had very severe Achilles tendinosis in both feet. And it meant that every gig was agonizing, and the next day afterward was agonizing times something, depending on how hard I'd bounced around during the gig.
Right.
And it impacted me on stage. It impacted me in the rehearsal room. It impacted me between things. And as someone who's gone through that, McLovin's, how do I say this? I love that you wrote in, McLovin. I love that you did this. But I just can't help but point to the staggering lack of compassion here.
Yeah.
Because your singer didn't choose any of this.
Right.
And doesn't want it. And when you say, like, he doesn't have health insurance, so he won't go see a doctor, I feel like that's the wrong contraction there.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lack of empathy about what he's dealing with that leads you to this place called, we have to make an ultimatum finally.
Yeah.
Are you going to fix this, or are you out?
Yeah.
And as the guy who would have loved to fix it, and I did fix it, the answer was to take a year off and get my foot fixed.
Right.
Which isn't what McLovin wants either. He's got a busy summer.
Right.
So at some point, you got to pick between your friend and your care for your friend and your support of your friend, between that and the picture you have of your band, maybe the past you have of your band. Maybe your band doesn't look like what it looks like going forward.
Yeah.
And maybe it needs a new picture. Maybe that's the problem, is you're comparing what's possible now against how it's been.
Yeah.
And I'm also not saying that some direct conversation and tough love isn't needed here. But
Right.
it's like you're contending with your lead singer and friend's stubbornness as if that's the problem versus the physical realities he's dealing with.
Yes. And you know, to add to your point, the change could be a lot of things. So like, you know, you're talking about what the picture of what the band looks like. That can go in so many different directions.
Totally.
And at the heart of the matter though is you've got people versus business. And of course, we know as band leaders that's where everything gets messy.
Yep.
Because you can look at dates on a page and the expectation that goes with it and have a certain feeling about how that should be handled that doesn't take into account any of the other things. But the problem is that like we live on paper one way, but we interact in real life very differently. So it's really easy for me to shoot an email off and and not really think too much about it. But if I've got to, say something to somebody in person, like that's a very different calculation.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it's the thing that's missing here is it seems like for McLovin, it's get your act together or get out. It's not how do we make all of this work given what you're dealing with?
Yeah. Yeah. How can we help?
Yeah, you can fully do a show sitting down. I resisted it. I really did. But I bought myself a bench, like a stool.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you watching on video can see it right there. And it was hard for me to get over. I have to be standing up to perform. I can't perform the show sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
And I did get over that. I actually now can. Look, Dave Grohl, when his leg was broken, put on amazing shows from like that throne they rolled out.
Yeah.
Amazing shows. He was no less Dave Grohl sitting down than he was standing up. And I think there's a lesson we can take from that. I think there's a way that you can put on the show that you've sold, even the show you've sold, with the expectations people have about it, while also accommodating his physical needs.
Yeah. And I guess the challenge here is that he is sitting and he's also not singing when he usually would.
That troubles me. I wonder if it's because he's trying to push too hard. He's trying to like overcome the physical constraints. And like if he just owned that he needed to sit and he was going to be a sitting singer and that was just how it was, could he sing it the whole show?
Yeah.
I think that's an untested question.
Yeah. If the answer is yes, then that is a path forward.
That yeah.
But the answer is no, then we've got other things that we need to kind of sort through.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this was a while ago. I can't remember what band it was, but it was like a bigger name legacy act or whatever, where the singer had COPD and didn't know it and like literally keeled over like mid set.
Yeah.
And had to come off the road because of that whole thing. So, there are certain situations and conditions where, you kind of have to come to terms with, hey, my performing season may be coming to a close. And you always want to put that decision on the person doing it. Yeah, I would hate to be pushed out of something, especially something that I've invested so much in. And so that's the hard part. And listen, compassion can look different.
Yes.
You can come at it from a lot of different ways. Wanted to shout out Paul Longden of Red Star up in Canada. His contribution, I really like. I don't know. I resonated with this. He said, he's a good friend of 15 years and you're okay with watching him kill himself.
Yeah.
Some things are more important than music and he needs help. The fact that he loves the band may be the motivation to get him working, but sometimes the right choices aren't always the easiest. So, what Paul's saying is like what he's doing now isn't being kind, because you're just looking, you're observing the issue, but not trying to make it easier to our knowledge. We've got 2 paragraphs to work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, that's for sure. I think there's a case to be made that this argues exactly against what I was just saying.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Yeah. There is a case to be made for like a loving intervention here.
Mm-hmm.
Not like an ultimatum, but like, how can you be supported? I mean, for somebody who has health insurance to look at somebody who doesn't and say that they are being stubborn and not going to the doctor is a little like the privilege of that is a little glaring, right? Because a lot of people just literally cannot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the case with him. We don't have his perspective. We don't have that much detail in what McClellan gave us here. But to say like there's got to be some way for you to start to address your health issues and start to get healthy because we love you and we want to keep doing this with you forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a conversation to have, you know?
Yeah. And Mark Budwit, who is also a very wise member of the Patreon group, I think between everybody's take, I think his kind of ties them all together really well. And then I've got a couple of other folks who chimed in that I think also made very salient points. But Mark comes at it directly through the lens that you started with. Said, looking through the situation from the lead singer guitarist's position, having no health insurance sucks, and getting treatment for these issues or lingering problems can be a monumental financial strain or completely financially devastating, you know? Yeah. Does he want to get these issues treated and on the right road to recovery, or does he just feel that that's yet another strain on his already filling plate of problems and mental woe? It's obvious he loves his band, and I'm guessing it's his main source of income and probably his identity. Not sure there. So again, we're kind of filling in the gaps here. Yeah. Giving him an ultimatum is just another thing that will more than likely make him defensive and continue to spiral.
Yeah.
If he's a good friend, as the author says, then he needs help and support to get him on the right track to health and being who you need him to be. So a come to Jesus talk is probably in order, but coming as a friend and someone who's willing to put in the time and effort, and maybe if it's absolutely necessary, some financial support to help him out. Yeah. If he had the power and will to help himself, he most likely would have done so by now. But sometimes when people get down and start to spiral, everything seems like another kick in the crotch to him, even when it's coming from a good place of intention. So I think that's really like...
For sure.
That's landing the plane there.
Yeah, for sure. And there is... The other way things could be going is that spiral, that place where, you know, a person's in a sort of a depressive downward path and everything seems impossible and they can't get out of that view enough to see what might be possible.
Yeah.
And engaging with that is, I mean, it's more than a friend. It's more than you owe as a friend. It's like a lot more than a person has to deal with that for themselves, but you can be the condition and the opportunity for them to deal with that if you choose to be.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the hard part, is that like, if your ultimate goal is to salvage the relationship and maintain the friendship, then the conversation can happen. But ultimately, the choice needs to be in the vocalist's hands. And I think that might be where there's some trouble. Yeah. Because if he's saying the ultimatum is like, you know, get better or get out, that angle is more than likely guaranteeing the end of that partnership and probably friendship, and may not guarantee...
Probably the band.
Right. But it's also not going to guarantee, he's going to have an opportunity to better himself or get out of whatever he's in.
Not at all.
So, you know, there's a couple of ways of approaching that. And John Horsley, another guy in the Patreon, I appreciated the way that he did it, because he's like, okay, you know, you and I and everybody else are kind of talking through the emotional component of this. He's like, all right, let's talk through some like potential practical contingency options. So John said, agree with all that's been said, but would add there's not shame in telling him that they want to add a person to free him up and for the band's sake and reputation. Doesn't mean he'd have to quit cold turkey. Maybe he can change roles for the time being. You know, maybe if he's doing the booking, maybe he can continue in a managerial role where he's kind of like a guest, where he can come on and sing a couple songs or play a couple songs. Do you need a sound man? He'd still be part of the band. He'd still get to keep his identity, you know, with the group. He can focus on himself, get better, but still be involved. So that's, looking at a dual upside potentially.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, the other guitarist is a good singer with a different voice.
Yep.
Sounds like a great opportunity to split the set.
Yep. Or, if singing is the hard part, a rhythm guitar player on a stool is not unheard of.
Not weird.
Mark Letary, who, he's played with Snarky Puppy and has done solo stuff forever. His bass player sits every show. No reason. That's just like he sits. That's just it.
Fripp sits.
Yeah. So, there are practical ways around this. I think ultimately the word ultimatum needs to go.
Pull that one out. Yep. Pull that one out.
Because that's basically saying you have two options. And if you don't like those two options, then, we just pack it up. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's got to be one or the other. And one might be impossible and the other is you're out.
Yeah. So I feel like the correct posture to approach this with, and whether it's, one-on-one or the band kind of getting together, if there's some sort of consensus and maybe one person's the spokesperson, say, hey, we know you're having a hard time and we're here to help, and whatever that looks like, we're ready to do that. Yeah. But clearly something isn't working with the way that things are going now. And we are open to ideas on how to make this easier on you.
Yeah.
But focus it on the person and not the project.
And crucially, the vibe is not you're letting us down. It's we're worried about you.
Yeah. We're concerned about you. How can we help?
Yeah.
I feel like that posture is the only way of potentially getting back to whatever it is that McLovin is hoping for.
Yeah.
So if it really is, he gets his foot fixed or his feet fixed and, can get back into shape, we're back to where we were.
If guys, I don't know if I can. I think I'm holding you back. I love you. Go do the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the other possible outcome of that.
Right, but both of those involve the person at the center of the situation being in control of what happens next.
100%. And being in an environment that'll accept whatever they choose.
Yeah. So McLovin and his bandmates probably need to do some soul searching themselves about what they ultimately want. Because the only thing that would be worse than giving the ultimatum is saying the thing that sounds like you care but not meaning it, and then going back on your word, where maybe you put this guy out and he was trying to do what was being asked of him, and then you guys just go, this is taking too long, or never mind, or whatever. And then, there's betrayal on top of everything else. It's just like that. That's just like, it feels like a pile on, really.
Yeah, no, it's an ultimatum delivered with softness, but it's still the ultimatum behind it. You can't do that.
Yeah. So that's ultimately it. For us, it would be easy to go, well, let's rip the Band-Aid off, find somebody else. Maybe he'll get better, maybe he won't. I can say that. I have no skin in the game. I have no investment. But even from this vantage point, I don't feel right doing that. And I don't know anybody involved in this scenario.
Given the longevity of the project and McLovin and his singer being the two
founders,
oldest heads, it's, the times when I've had somebody that I needed to correct their behavior or, they couldn't continue. It didn't have that kind of personal touch, that kind of personal ownership, that depth of background. The band is pretty much his whole personality, McLovin says. I mean, you got to be a little bit more, you can't be all business.
Yeah. And doing this incorrectly can cause irreparable damage in all aspects.
Totally. Look, even just at all business, doing this incorrectly could be very damaging to the brand.
Yeah. Because, we've dealt with this with other folks in the community when somebody is spurned.
Yep.
The kind of collateral damage they can cause. It's always a matter of like when a breakup happens, regardless of the context, whose side people choose isn't always initially clear. You might be betting that people will follow you, but I would never be so confident as to think that.
And even so, do you want somebody off on the side tweeting? We don't tweet anymore. I don't know what we do. Saying like, they said I'm too fat to be in the band.
Yeah.
Let's just not trigger any drama here. Let's just have it come from compassion.
Yeah. So I feel like we've talked through all of the ways that it could go right and it could go wrong.
Yeah.
But just to land the plane, posture it with concern and willingness to help.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, then don't bother. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Fight your way through the summer and then see what happens next.
Right. Because ultimately, the person at the center of the situation needs to be the one who makes the call.
Yep.
And if you're like, I don't feel comfortable doing that, okay, well then you make the call and be prepared to deal with whatever fallout comes with it. Because, I mean, ultimately, everybody's free to do what they want to do. But if you're trying to prioritize this 15-year relationship over your busy summer, then that's what you need to do. If you don't care, go nuts. Hopefully that helps. It probably doesn't. I think, we get emails sometimes where I feel like people just kind of want us to confirm what they've been feeling. And I don't feel like this is tough love in any way, but I think it's definitely the right, like sometimes you do need an outside perspective to either blind spots and accountability, all of the things that,
And we love having them pointed out. We love it.
Yes. So, best of luck to you, McLovin. And, if and when things sort out, hit us back up. Let us know how it went.
Love an update.
Yeah. We've been getting a lot of really good emails, recently. And, we're grateful for you guys for trusting us to, help hash things out. And, we've got a couple other, emails in the pipeline. This one just felt pressing and kind of important. So,
yeah. So send us all your tough ones. Adam and Dan, the band psychologists.
Yeah. And we'll tell you how to do something and then say, or don't.
Or don't. I'm not your dad.
Yeah. I've got kids.
Yeah. You're not one of them.
You're not. So, and let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts? Did we nail it? Did we screw something up? Was there something we missed? Let us know about it. coverbandconfidential@gmail.com. You guys already know the email. You're hitting us up all the time. And so if you've got a brain buster or something that's been, messing with you, hit us up, give us a ring. We will do our best to kind of get through it. But that's it. Best luck to McLovin and his group. Everybody ends up on the right side and feels like they can move forward.
I think we guided him. We're not supposed to block him. We're supposed to guide him.
That's right. Excellent reference.